What is going on YouTube? So we're still pushing forward on the Travelall project here. Today I wanted to get out here and get this front end on the front of the Travelall. Now there's a couple things we need to do before we just start setting the front end up there and building body mounts. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of rust on the core support up there we're going to need to address, and over here we're going to have to cut off some of the frame and box it in before we start building mounts. So let's get started. We'll take a closer look at these things. Try to find my marker here so I can show y'all kind of what's going on. All right, unfortunately there's rust on this thing. I'm very tired of rust. Just did so much of it on Chris's car that I'm not fixing the rust on the outside of this thing, not right now anyways. But since down in here is where our mounts are going to end up and there's so much rust, unfortunately we're going to have to address this. So I don't really want to make this a rust repair video. I'm going to do this as quick as possible, and I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown of what I'm about to do. First, you can see right here where that's cut off from the factory. We're going to match this side, cut it there. I'm going to use my die grinder, grind off any little spot welds I need to grind off so we can get this piece out of here. After that, this lip down here on the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find every little spot weld I can, get my die grinder on that, grind it down until the spot weld no longer exist, where I can get all that off there, or off the bottom. And along the top here, once I get this piece off, I'm probably gonna just cut it right here at this lip all the way across, and I'm hoping at that point that I can basically pull that whole chunk off of there. For every 100 pounds, we gain 1/10 of a second. So I'd say we just picked up some time on our quarter mile there, because that was a shit ton of rust. This thing right here is still packed full of rust. This is rusted out all underneath that. New plan. This is a piece of C-channel, what we just took off, essentially. It's curving up here and coming back down, and it's actually that lip we were taking off there. I wasn't sure how this thing was constructed. So we're gonna finish getting this piece of channel out of here. Once we get to that point, I'm probably just gonna fix this sheet metal here with some 18 gauge, cut it out, blend it back down to a swoop, and we're probably just gonna put some kind of cross member in there. I'm not gonna worry about, like I said, making it look factory. If there's enough room after that stuff's cleared out in a way where I can put like a piece of 1.5" square tubing across there, of course make it blend and look good, that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to keep this as simple as possible. So I need to get the rest of this cross member out real quick. We just shed all kinds of weight by the time I got all that stuff out of there. The first person to guess how many trips I had to make with the dustpan back and forth to the trash can to clean up all this mess I'll send you a Puddin's Fab Shop koozie. Just drop your comment down below on how many dustpan trips you think it took me to clean up that mess. Because I'll say it kept coming. As you seen, I flipped this thing over and had to look on the front to see where the spot welds were, so I could know where to grind it here on the back to get that last little piece off. So I'm gonna bring you guys around here so I can show you kind of close-up look of what's going on now. Yeah, baby. So this is the front sheet metal here. So we're not addressing that today. I know some of y'all probably think I'm crazy for, hey, let's just do it while we're here kind of thing. But I just want to get some good bones in there, like I said, where I can mount this thing. And, you know, maybe sometime during the summer or something like that, when I have this thing going, I'll go around and address the outside rust where we can blend it in. But we're worried about good bones right now. So with all that stuff out of there, I'm going to sit here and look, figure out how we want to put a cross member. We want to get this, our main cross member being here, hid behind this lip, so you don't see it from the front of the traveall. And as far as this lip down here, I'm really not too worried about it, especially if we do plan on fixing that one day. I may drop a couple of tack welds down along there to kind of hold it, but we really just want to get tied into here, here, and here. Get something strong across there. So let me show you my solution for the cross member here. 1-inch square tubing, 11 gauge. It just fit this shape really well where it would slide in there if I tap on it with a hammer. So I drilled a few holes on each side. I cut it long, tapped it in past, back over, and I have plug welds on each side holding this in. As you see, we still have a gap here from all of our sheet metal. So is the cross member strong? Absolutely. Is it ugly? I think so. I'm not a huge fan of just like throwing a piece of tubing on something. We want it to flow a little better, and we need to fill our sheet metal area. I just used a piece of poster board, started doing shapes until I came up with something. Again, I like to use radiuses instead of a straight cut if I can. And here's kind of a rough, well, not a rough, it just needs to be trimmed into place of what we're going to use to fill that spot. So I'll trim this up. It'll end up getting full welded all the way around, and there's holes top and bottom to plug weld that, and it'll just give us a little flow. Now this will still just be square tubing, but a radiator and everything's going to be in here. You're not really going to be able to see this, and this valance and bumper and everything's going to hopefully cover most of it from the front, where unless you're looking for it, you're not going to see it, kind of thing. That's stronger than what was in there since it was all rusted. I mean, that stuff was just falling apart. And it actually allows some room where the cereal will actually be able to be washed out with a pressure washer, washing the car, whatever, kind of spray up in there, and no more dirt will actually trap. And this won't be butted right up against the sheet metal, giving it a place to rust out. So now I'm gonna flip this thing over, clean up real quick, and we're going to look at what I want to use for the body mounts. This is a bushing for like building like a 4-link wishbone, any kind of link suspension. I keep a bag of these in my shop. Usually if I build link suspension, I'll do one of these on one end and do adjustable on the other end. I usually don't just do fixed. So I have some of these. I've also used these for building like shackle hangers when I put S10 leaf springs on the back of a 41 to 46 Chevy before. And they come in handy for all kinds of suspension stuff. So as you see here, these two rubber pieces, they're actually not as thick as our sleeve here is. So I think we can mark it right in the middle. We're gonna make sure to mark it well, line it with tape, cut it where it's nice and even. And we have inner sleeve that we're gonna cut down as well. We wanna cut the inner sleeve and have our rubber piece just a hair longer and just a hair than this outer sleeve. And then we're gonna do a fender washer on the bottom. So you'll drop your bolt into a fender washer on the bottom, and the bolt and everything will tighten down on our sleeve to the fender washer. Of course, this has a top lip, and that'll keep that rubber piece inside of this outer sleeve, but it won't be mashing it in there. So it'll be a nice little rubber isolator. So the first thing we need to do is start marking this piece and get it cut down. Next thing, our fender washers here. They're 2-inch outer diameter, same as our outer sleeve. That's a 3/8 hole. And I actually made a mistake. I went and got hardware that's 1/2 inch, and I forgot these inner sleeves are 5/8. You can get these, when you buy these bushings though, you can get them 1/2 inch, 9/16, 5/8. I just forgot that I had the 5/8. So I'll have to get a bigger bolt and step this out to 5/8 instead of 1/2 inch. But for now, we're gonna do it to 1/2 inch so I can finish showing y'all what I'm doing here. That's a hidden gem at Harbor Freight. So that's gonna hide the edge that we had to cut. And as you see right there, we're flush, just perfect. Next, we'll take one of these inner sleeves, get it in there. May want to lube that bad boy. All right, again, it's coming right to the bottom. It's kind of pushing some rubber out, but the edges are actually matching. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's right where we want it. Where whatever your body mount may be, whether it's a tab coming off kind of like that then had to gusset, or you know, however shape need be, you could sit down on that, be able to put your bolt and washer, take your fender washer that's going to match up to that sleeve, and tighten that baby down. So I have everything cut for 2 of these, but I'm actually going to take this one back apart. I have this nice little aluminum set of bushings you can get from Jason Thorbeck also that go in the ends, and then they have different size washers that slide down in there depending on if you're using 1/2 inch, 9/16 or 5/8. So I got our 2 bushings here mocked up with the aluminum pieces, and we know that we need to weld to this outer sleeve, and whatever's actually going to sit on here with the hole drilled in it is going to sit on top of this aluminum piece here. So with this we can do mock-ups and not have to worry about burning up our bushings. So let's hop to the front of this thing. There's an inch or 2, maybe 3, I don't know, that is already from this front face to where the core support is. I know if a radiator's in there, I'm wanting to run the factory like Sierra Silverado radiator, and it's wider than this. So I think I'm gonna come back here 3.5 to 4 inches and either cut here, maybe up at an angle. I haven't quite decided, but either way, this has to be cut, and then we need to box it in before we start mocking up the front. So I'm gonna try to make the final decision on how I wanna mark this and cut it, box it. So let me get a side done, and we'll check in, see what's going on. I decided just to cut this thing straight down and over. I'm trying to force myself to quit overcomplicating things sometimes, because this is going to end up pretty well being a head, hard to see. We'll make it look nice, but we don't have to overdo it. So, cut this off. This piece over here, I did a cut and just bend it. This side ended up breaking, so I just threw a couple tacks on here, but that gave me a nice tight fit around there. And then this piece, as you can see, I just used the angle grinder and did a really rough cut on that. We're going to tack it in place, full weld this, and then we'll go around those edges with the flapper and we'll clean it all up. So we're good to go. I had to jack up this side of the Travelall a little bit until the frame was level. I put my angle finder here until it was level. Once it was level, I did my trick where I take the level, put it on the ground, shim it till it's level, measure from the top of it to reference points on the front. They were all right at a 16th. And then I took measurements, even coming down from like up here to the center point. It was dead on. My cross measurements are still dead on. So we have this thing where it needs to go. That's good news. The bad news is, not bad news, I just gotta go get my girls. So we're gonna have to take a break for a minute. So for our mount, I wanna get the mount kinda over here where tabs can come down, over and up, and be able to be welded to the front, but also kinda hug this bottom where it'll be like a little platform where the bolt can go down through. But I kind of want it like L shape holding that, if that makes any sense. But we're gonna do something kind of like that. That'll get it over positioned where I want it. And obviously we'll do some little brackets to reinforce that. So let me get all this kind of tacked up in place real quick. I decided to clean up, go in last night, get out here fresh, finish this up this morning. End of the day yesterday with both of those being tacked up. Now we need our little platform to go from here down to here. So here's what I got going on. 3-inch wide strap, 1/8 inch thick. Putting a little relief cut at 4 inches, making the platform 3 inches wide. Another relief cut, and I'm bending them to a 100-degree angle and then welding them up. Here's what it looks like before bending it and welding it. And I just take this thing, you want to bend it real slow or you'll snap these, but bend it, take my angle finder here till it matches. Once it does, I'm actually turning it in the vise so it clamps it where it can't move, put a nice bead on it, and like that, it's penetrating all the way through. Just a nice, easy way to do it. Use the template over there to see how it needed to cradle the core support. Cut that out. Then I just use the Used this washer here to be able to know how I want to round the top over, kind of clean it up a little bit. So poster board, a little bit of mathification, and oh yeah, I threw a little weld in here on the inside just in case, probably overkill, but let's get these things over there and tacked onto the core support. Still hot. All right, so since yesterday, right before I went in, I got these mounts down here tacked up, and immediately I hated this little lip hanging out here. I left it right there so I could put a nice weld, but the fact this thing tapers out, it just really looks out of place. There used to be a factory cross member up forward of here where the brake lines ran across, so I started thinking about that, and I thought maybe we could put a cross member there. So I whipped this guy up real quick. Gonna set it down there, something like that. You can see that kind of ties it in and just makes it look better. It looks more complete like that, so I'm gonna get it tacked up now. So I wanted to get the bumper mounted as well, and it was going to be difficult to get it to the frame. So I came up with the solution, why not tie it into the front core support. I know it's not as strong as tying it straight to the frame, but it'll add strength back to this, and I don't plan on pushing anything. So what I ended up doing was taking some 1/4" strap, 3" wide, drill the holes. I currently have it spaced. I'll cut out a spacer that actually goes behind there. And doing it that way, got that strap, as you can see, real close to our mounts here. So I just shimmed the bumper around until everything looked good. I was happy with it and then tacked it up. I'll end up taking this bumper off of here when I do. I'll clean up that strap, cut the ends at the same angle as these mounts and make it all look good. But I just want to give a kind of quick little update of what I did there. All right, everyone, that's it. Yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. I think I could have done a couple things different, but I'm not gonna nitpick it too much because, like I said, that's where radiator, condenser, and everything's gonna go. We're not even gonna be able to see any of that stuff. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, maybe learned something or got a couple ideas that could help you. If you did enjoy the video and you wanna help me out, it's as simple as drop a comment down below, like the video, or share it. All those things help the channel grow, so I appreciate it when you guys do that. If you're new to the channel, please check out some of the other videos before you leave. And hopefully I got something you enjoy watching. If you're on Instagram, I'm on there, Puddin's Fab Shop. Y'all can go give me a follow. And I will see you guys in the next video. And don't forget, sitting on your ass won't finish your project. I'll see you guys next time.